being sick sucks. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Welcome back to another The Freelancer on Sunday. I have food poisoning, so I apologize if today's show is not as fun as the rest of them. It's been a rough couple of days, but I think about this a lot, and I could say I'm sick, so I'm not going to do the show. I could say I'm sick, so I'm not going to get any writing done. And the writing that I do may not be great. It may end up on the cutting room floor during the editing phase. Who knows? But consistency is key. Anything that you want to do and want to do well requires putting in the work, even when you're sweating and your stomach feels like a pancake inside of you. It's not fun. We'll move on pretty quick, though. I have my bottle of water here just in case. And, yeah. What we're going to do, like we do on every show, is a Pomodoro writing sprint, about 20 minutes. I have my timer set up and the music cued and ready to go. We're going to try and get some work done. And if you have a project you are working on, I would encourage you to open that up and write with me. That's what today is all about. So let's get set. We're going to go for 20 minutes. And let's see what we can come up with. Starting now. All right. Excuse me. That was our first writing sprint of the hour. Hope you got some work done. See, we've got some comments, so I'm going to check those out. Apparently, they were right at the beginning of the show, and I didn't notice. My apologies. Devil's Air. To answer my question, did you see Neo 2 stuff while writing G Sedai, or do you know of it because of the spirit animals and the blades? So for those of you that may not know, G Sedai is one of my book series, and I created a comic book about it. We were showing some of the artwork and concept art that we did, and many of them have a blue color splash in the slashes of Gabriel's sword, as well as a rabbit or hare that runs through or from the attack. I was not familiar with Neo 2 when I was writing G Sedai. I wasn't really paying any attention to anything at that point. I was mostly focused on just getting the writing done. And I don't know that I have ever seen the game, but I would definitely check it out, I guess. I'm assuming it's a game. Maybe it's an anime. I'll find out. And I'll let you guys know. No, the idea came from, as I said on IAK Friday night, the idea behind the hair has to do with Gabriel's backstory, and physically in the comic book, it represents the awakening of the warrior spirit, as opposed to simply, fighting because he was told to and killing because he was told to. Now it shows intent. He's fighting to protect someone, and it's coming from inside him, not an external force that says you go do that. Something I've found. Yes, okay. It is a game. I'll check it out. And one of the things that I've learned and is said all the time is there's no such thing as a new idea. I'll paraphrase Twain, and I can already hear Royce in the back of my head saying, "I hate Mark Twain." But I'll paraphrase Twain, who very famously said that there are no new ideas, and what we do as, what he said, authors, but for me, creators, because it's changed so much over the decades since he said this. What we as creators do is take concepts that everybody already knows and we put them into something of an imaginary kaleidoscope and give it a twist. See what we see through that. So I'm not surprised that there's something that out there that's very reminiscent to what I came up with for showing the awakening of Gabriel's warrior spirit. And it's interesting to me. So thank you, Devil's Air, for letting me know. Like I said, I'll check out Neo 2, and we can have a further conversation on Royce's Gilded at some point, probably, or in DMs. Hello, Guilty Gearhead. And that wraps that up real quick. Hopefully, I don't really expect people to come sit here with me for an hour and listen to me drone on. But I do hope that at least they'll watch the show later on and vibe to the light music and get some work done on whatever it is that they're creating. That's really all that I can ask for. Normally at this point in the show, I transition over to talk about something in the indie creator sphere. Last week, I talked about a book that I was surprised to like, which was Jordan Allen's Hollow Kingdom. Pleasantly surprised. Not exactly what I was hoping to read. As I'd said last week, I like the Tolkien Lewis narrative flow of things, but it was a condensed version of that I found really interesting. When I was coming up with the Guilty Gearhead's question is, did you say that the visuals with the weapons was inspired by Demon Slayer? I feel like I remember you saying something like that on IAK. Yes. Um, I had watched, I think, the first couple of episodes of Demon Slayer during that time, and I found the leaning on traditional Japanese art in the weapon attacks when they use their specific skills was really interesting. And it did make me think, okay, there has to be some sort of representation of Gabriel actually fighting for something of value, something of meaning, rather than just fighting because he had to and was told to. So yes, I did say that. Devil's Air. Luckily, if G Sedai becomes something, you can use CGI as help, and most of the stunt work can be done by the actors. CGI as assist, not as the main character, if you catch my drift. That's something I have no time to really think about yet, because I'm nowhere near doing live action or anything like that. The next step for me is to keep producing the comic and start funneling funds from the comic into animations. So I'm looking at going the anime route before we even consider anything live action or anything like that. And if I'm going the anime route, I would want to make it easier on Kevin, my artist for the comic book, to produce stills that we can turn into animation. And my daughter and I may have some test projects that we're going to do that'll see if that's something that we can work out. This is all new to me. I'm just a writer. I've got into visual media very recently, literally with this comic. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to fumble through it, and we'll try and make the best thing that we can make and then just iterate from there. Gabriel is a Samurai Jack from Devil's Air, and I mean, yeah, it's Samurai Jack's a very classic concept, and the character concept of Gabriel is a classic concept. So yeah, I can see the comparison. Absolutely. Okay, before I suck up too much time talking about G Sedai, let's go into what I want to talk about today before we get into the final sprint of the hour, and that would be B.A. Turner's Vigilante's Creed. There was a lot of hype around the project, mostly coming from the creator, and I very much thought, okay, he believes wholeheartedly in this book, that I backed it. Got the awesome cover, big chunker. It's like 2 books in one, plus a mini comic and a bunch of artwork that all were fantastic. You know, the artist did great things with the concept, but I was disappointed when I opened the book. It's hard to read. I made it through chapter 1, and from a consumer standpoint, it's just hard to read. From an editor standpoint, it's even worse. And one of the things that I find we have to be honest with ourselves in the indie creative sphere is we need help. It's not, we can't just vomit words onto a page, launch them onto a publishing platform like Amazon or Draft to Digital or whatever, and then throw the book at everyone and go, this is the greatest book. It's not how it works. What unfortunately I had in my hand is a very pretty rough draft. Now, I think with work and effort and an eye for actually swallowing some of our personal pride in what we do, we can make something that other people will really, really want. Yes, Devil's Air, that's correct. What Henry Cavill said, the fans are the judge of the product. Yes. The creator needs to believe in what they're doing, but ultimately they need to also be beholden to their potential fans, to their consumer base. You have to have put out the very best thing that you can put out. Something I learned very early in my writing career, and most successful creators learn hopefully very quickly and can course correct. But I walked into the arrangement of backing the project and enjoying the art and thinking, okay, well, this art is phenomenal. He's got to put the work in for everything else, and ultimately was kind of let down. And I'm very fond of BA. I've talked with BA. He's been on IAK a lot, and we've had conversations. We don't always agree on things, and there's nothing wrong with disagreeing on things. I would have liked him to have put some more effort into it. And you can say, yeah, I'm an editor, so, I'm going to nitpick things. It's not the nitpicking things that bothers me. It's the overall narrative prose of that first chapter. If your first chapter is your storefront, you could say the cover's the storefront, but really when it comes to books, reading material, you want your first chapter to be so memorable that the person who put it down so they could go to work for 8 hours at some point during those 8 hours thinks, I want to go home and see what happens next. I want to go home and read chapter 2. And if it doesn't do that, you have work to do as a creator. The same thing can be said about YouTube videos, and perfect example, me just sort of groaning into the microphone and saying that I'm sick before starting the show today. That's not a good advertisement. Luckily, I don't care because I'm just here to hang out and help you guys write. I'm not trying to create a huge fan base or anything like that. But someone who would want those first 5 minutes to be engaging, because then they either stay to watch the rest of it or go about the rest of their business and come back to the video when they have time. Same thing applies to books. If your book is not making someone think I should read the next chapter, you fucked up. Oh, hey, Draco Nightmare. Welcome. First line's crucial. Devil's Air says, I say the first chapter, the first line, the first paragraph are the most important to see if people will stay. All points of cutoff or continuation. First line is always crucial. First line is just going to sit in people's heads. And it's probably the most difficult thing to do. If you think about it, there are millions of books out there. So there are millions of first lines, and there's going to be overlap. Well, this first line reminds me of this first line. So it just sort of falls out of my head. Like if you're reading an indie creator and you've read Stephen King and that indie creator's first line sounds very reminiscent of like Dark Tower or whatever, you're not going to think about the indie creators line. You're going to think, "Ooh, I really liked reading that Stephen King book. I might have to go back and read that. Yeah, lost. The attention has shifted away. So verse line is super hard. I don't yes. I don't expect anybody to get the first line right. It's fun when it happens, but I don't expect anyone to. First paragraph, absolutely. And first chapter better make me want to keep reading. It could be 5 pages, it could be 10 pages, it could be 30 pages. It doesn't matter. If I reach that empty space at the end of the chapter and I don't want to keep reading, that's not good. Because then you're not going to entice people to come back and try again. Guilty Gearhead says Adachi. Yes. G said I start with the buddy cop trope of the police commander yelling for his rebellious officer. Devil's Air says, yeah, my dwarf idea I got is very difficult. Also need to do more research on stuff before I can get going. Dwarf is in Lord of the Rings dwarf style, but it goes somewhere different. Well, I'd be interested to find out. Guilty Gearhead says, I'll remember that line forever. Okay. We are exactly at 20 minutes before I need to wrap up the show. So for those of you that are writing, storyboarding, or just cleaning up your room, we're going to do another writing sprint. Right about now. Okay. That is the end of our second sprint. And yes, 2 minutes till 1 hour. We got caught up in talking, and really, I don't mind. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure we got 2 writing sprints in the hour for the stream. We are 1 minute and 25 seconds over, but that's okay. It's time to talk. How'd you do? What did you do? Let's see what I got done. 1,396 words for those 2 sprints. Not bad at all. That finishes out this chapter of Legacy of Heroes 2 Rising Stars. Making, I think it's just about 5K actually, if not just over. I'll find that out later. But yep, that was it. All progress is good progress. And as long as you got something done in one or both of those 20-minute writing sprints, we have succeeded for the day and we can go about our lives. Devil's Air says, oh, Guilty Gearhead popped up. I have no writing projects. I played video games. Hey, that works too. Devil's Air says, I'm brainstorming in my head, not yet writing. That comes later. First, need to get the stuff I want in there before I start with the first session. Are you sure about that? I find that trying to build it all in your head first brings up that wonderful Doctor Who quote, you know, head's too full of stuff, need a bigger head. Eventually you run out of hard drive space and you'll start forgetting details. I've tried it. So I would really suggest starting a document just for your brainstorm. Put down the things that you find that you want in the story. May not make it in the outline, may not even make it into the book later on. But if you start recording it, good. I have stuff on paper. I don't have the base stuff on paper. Well, I would give it a try. It has always helped me to brain dump, then outline, then start writing. And when I say brain dump, I mean every crazy idea that has come into my head for however many days it is I'm brainstorming gets plopped into the document. Then I create my outline based on what I know of the flow of a story from beginning to end. Start populating different spots with ideas from the brain dump. Some of them will get tossed, some of them won't. And then from there, I have a clear path to writing. And that's what makes doing what I do here on Sundays and every day that I'm not live streaming so efficient. You know, I can bang out over 1,000 words in 40 minutes. Devil's Air, we can talk privately about the outline, mostly because that could be a whole nother hour discussion. So let's figure out a time where you and I can sit down and talk, and I'll go through that with you if you'd like. So that's what I'm doing in Word docs, but I don't know how to do an outline. Well, I'll help you out. Just let me know when you can set some time aside that we can schedule. And any questions before I head off here? I'll give them a minute. Trying to stay hydrated. Let's see. Yes, that is very true. Time zones are pain, and I can only remember so much into the future before I start to lose control of how time works. So, but we'll DM, we'll figure it out, and I will give you a hand with outlining. It's really not hard. It's just a matter of understanding what are known as beats, which is if you consider, I mean, I'm probably going to butcher this and Royce is going to kill me, but if you consider a song has a narrative that runs from lyric to lyric, then it has a break of chorus, then lyric, 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 break of chorus. You have the rhythm of writing a song. That's the outline. So it's beat, 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 interlude, beat, 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 interlude. And that's how you do a written outline as well. It's very easy. We'll go over it. For now, I'm going to attempt to eat something that's not going to try to kill me because I'm starving, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, folks. See ya.